Crashing through the snow. Okay. Is this thing on? I think it's recording. Hopefully it's recording. I'm not talking to myself. Do you consume? Hey, bro. You know what it used to be? The quote, do you money? Well, now it is, do you consume? And let me get into it. Let me get my notes out. Because, like Jaden Animations, which I'm really going to be talking about, she went on this rant a few days ago. And it seems to be spreading through the internet. And I didn't pay attention to it because YouTube was like, hey, look at this, look at this, look at this. And I generally try to, try to ignore what YouTube's recommended to me. Just because, I don't want to be sucked down a rabbit hole. But, I seen somebody else review it. And this is just how it goes on YouTube. Seen somebody else review it. And I was like, okay, I'll watch it, YouTube. I'll watch somebody else react to somebody else reacting to somebody else actually putting out a video. It's the circle of life here on YouTube. And as you can probably tell by now, I'm talking a little bit faster. I've had my caffeine. I got my stims, man. A little bit more active today. It's nice out. It's nice out. I like producing now. Here in the winter times when I get a little bit more active, go outside without melting 110 degrees at night like it gets in the summer. I can be a little bit more active. So keeping up with the trend, everyday posting on YouTube. Let's talk about it. Jaden Animations, she went on this rant, and it was about living in the diaspora of California. Well, I call California. I didn't coin the term. Somebody else said it. I call it California too. And they've all spread. The Californication, it spreads to every other state that Californians want to live in. Because Californians don't want to actually live in California. Jaden Animations said this herself. She doesn't actually want to live in LA. In fact, she was from Arizona originally. Why she moved to LA? Because all the things happen in LA. If you're going to be big time influencer. But big time influencer is online now. You could have been in Alaska and did this. Get on YouTube and just be in Alaska. They have internet in Alaska. They have internet in Missouri. You could have gone to no, that's going to sound wrong. You could have gone to an Asian country. Let's put it that way. And they got internet, and you could have been an influencer. But no, you wanted to go to arguably worse than most Asian countries, California, which is, I guess, basically an Asian country itself, because that's where they all go for some reason. I don't know. You want to find all the Asians, you either go to Hawaii or you go to California. But getting off topic, we're talking about the enshittification, also somebody else's coin turn, of everything we consume. Everything that generally comes from China that we consume. The ching chong stuff that comes from China that we consume. And that's the deal with Americans. And between America and China. China produces the stuff that we don't need generally. And then America produces the consumer that buys stuff they don't need from China, and the circle goes around and around and around. We already heard about the circle. We already know the circle is breaking down. That's why our economy is going into the toilet. That's why I'm on YouTube trying to collect some shekels. By the way, if you agree with this rant, rave, just like Jaden Animations, just like Seljor, the Destroyer, has posted, if you agree with me on anything, like and subscribe. Try to give me some of that good YouTube money. Those good YouTube pennies. And I'll keep posting. I'm going to keep posting regardless. Because this is easy. I have to keep telling myself it's easy so I don't get off track, so I don't miss a day. But this is easy. The only hard part is coming up with a thumbnail. And I'm probably going to keep that meta thumbnail up for quite a while, because this is meta. in, I guess, the traditional sense of the word, which means to death. Meta means death. This is the death of the economy. So technically meta, but also being more of a satirical commentization of a self-aware position of a joke. Like, think Deadpool. Think breaking the fourth wall. Okay, that's meta. This is also meta. I'm supposed to be weaving a story, a web of fiction, and yet here I am commentating on real life. But getting out off topic here. Back on topic. The rant about the enshittification. Now, see, the enshittifications happened because we have, and this is going to sound bad, we have a lot of people that are single and have nothing else to fill the void with. They're single, they have no kids, they make a lot of money, and they have nothing to fill that void with. They have nothing to do with that money besides go on trips, and that gets boring after a while. And what do? They buy a bunch of stuff they don't need, and they rent apartments and do wild things with their money because they think that the good times are gonna last forever. And the good times ended. They're ending. They ended. For most people, the good times ended back in 2024. For a good population of the people, the good times ended in 2020. For me, the good times ended back in 2015. Well, technically it ended in 2008, and then I tried to bounce back, and then my whole life I got, crappy dishwashing jobs and hard labor that didn't pay anything, and I kind of finally came up, and I got slapped back down in 2015 to dishwashing jobs, and I said, I'm not doing this ever again, and I went into warehousing, minimum wage, whatever is considered minimum wage now, since the minimum wage hasn't actually risen in, I don't know, God, how long. Hasn't risen in, let's just say, years. It hasn't risen since 2019. You don't get a cost of living raise anymore because there's no reason to. The money printer, the Federal Reserve, Mitch already stated, and many people are bringing this up now, something I already knew. And this is going to be the theme for this whole video. I already knew this stuff. I was already tired of the enshittification. I was already there. I've been there for over a decade. It's just people now catching up because it's starting to affect them. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I wish it would have happened a little bit earlier. Me, Aaron Clary, if you ever been around Aaron Clary, you ever been around Louis Rossman, you ever been around any of these people, they will tell you, they've been telling you, this is not how things are supposed to be. A lot of us are old enough to remember where things just worked. You bought something and it just worked, which is why I'm out here with a self-made recording device that I made myself with a Raspberry Pi, some Python code, and a USB mic, and it's working, and it's going to continue to work as long as the batteries are functioning. It's not going to need an app. Oh my god, let me get back on track. I am on track. Shut up. Let me explain this. I don't need an app to do this. I don't need the government listening to me to do this. I don't need permission to record this video. I just need permission to upload it. That's it. And even on that front, uploading the video to a cloud service, if you've been awake on the enshittification as of late, what, Cloudflare's gone down how many times? Oracle's gone down how many times and destroyed the internet? AWS goes down, and it takes out, AWS is half the internet. That takes out most of the internet because everybody relies on little microservices coming from AWS. How many times is this going to happen where we just give all our services, all our lives over to these big companies, and they fail us We pay thousands and thousands of dollars to them, and they just fall off the cliff when they're supposed to have redundancies. By the way, I do have AWS certifications. I do know how cloud works. I do know that you're supposed to have backups. I do know how to spin up my own servers, but no, we can't have port 80 open. We can't have port 80 to just broadcast our own websites, our own microservices from our home, even though we pay for internet. And it's ridiculous. And I hope that this hit to Jaden Animations, being that she's an influencer, she starts advocating for things we've been advocating for a very, very long time on Louis Rossman's channel, Eric Clary's channel, anybody else who has gone minimalist because they can't stand having a tablet control your car. Like, why? Why would you do? Why would you do this? Why would you have a tablet connected to everything in your car, and if that tablet goes out, you can't drive your car? If that tablet has an update, your car is bricked. As stated by Jaden Animations, your car is bricked. You can't go nowhere. If somebody wants to steal your car, they hack into the tablet and they steal your car. They open the doors from the tablet. And once again, I going back to my previous point, the only reason this is happening is because you have people that were buying this stuff. People that didn't know anything about mechanics, didn't know anything about computers. They just shelled out the money and said, that car looks nice, even though it looks like every other car. I can't tell, by the way, I can't tell the difference between a Nissan Sentra and a Toyota Camry. They're all gray, beige, or black. They all look the same. The Honda Civic, Subaru Impreza, oh my god, that thing got fat, bloated, and died, and this just looks like a fat Honda Civic. I can't tell the difference anymore. And it looks nice. It looks like everything else. It conforms. It walks in lockstep. It's part of the Borg. It gets this little tablet in the middle. You press buttons on the tablet. It controls. Oh, how nice. It's crap. It's crap. Nobody wants anymore. And because Jaden Animations has so much influence and so much pull as a YouTuber, as a public figure, I'm hoping that now that she's ranting and raving about the things that are going on in the economy, the things that we buy, that it actually starts to get pushed, that we actually have cars that actually function. We actually have products that actually function. I hope that Jaden Animations sees all the comments I left in her comment section to just kind of direct her towards Louis Rossman's videos, because Louis Rossman has been ringing the bell on this stuff for quite some time, saying everything from printers to iPads to definitely Apple products have just come in this box, this black box that you can't fix anymore. And if something breaks, you gotta pay thousands of dollars to fix it. And once again, we've been here. In fact, I fell for it again. True story. I'm in with this. I bought a cryptocurrency miner, thinking from Canon, thinking that, oh, it's gonna be awesome. I'm just gonna plug it in and it's gonna work. I'm gonna plug it in. I'm gonna log into the website like we used to do, like Canon used to do when we first started. Canon's one of the OG cryptocurrency mining companies that produce products for the people. And we used to just plug in the Ethernet, plug in a power source, and then go find the website, go find the IP address, and then log into that IP address, and it would bring up a website. That's not how it works anymore. Now you got to download an app. And if I would have known I had to download an app to control this cryptocurrency mine, I would have never bought this POS. I would never. I'm going to put this stuff back in the box, and I'm going to send it directly back to Canon and tell them, whoever came up with this idea of needing an app to control your cryptocurrency miner over Wi-Fi with no Ethernet connection, you need to be fired. I know it's for the home. You need to be fired. You probably don't. I take that back. probably nobody created this. This is probably something made up by ChatGPT. Just thinking about it. And as far as the app is concerned, the app didn't work. The app was, I don't know, I downloaded it. I don't know if I downloaded a Trojan. They say in the instruction book, oh, make sure your system doesn't have Trojan viruses or malware or the like. But what if I'm downloading a Trojan malware or virus with your app? Because I downloaded it to my tablet, and as soon as I opened it, it went black. It doesn't do anything. I don't know if I just don't have enough RAM. I don't know if it just doesn't work with Android 12 or wherever I got. But it's not working. That's the bottom line. And it's a dumb ideal. You had things that worked. You've been doing it. You've been making cryptocurrency mining products, Canon, for well over a decade. You know how to do this. Why? Why did you stop? Why did you stop doing it? I'm not even saying it's the correct way, since most of this is experimental, but you know the formula. Ethernet, power, log into website, control miner, point it to pool. That's it. Why an app? If you guys like this rant, leave a comment, like, subscribe, and maybe I can buy a decent miner with the shekels I get from YouTube. And I think I'm going to keep up the same thumbnail just because, I don't have anything else to contribute. I can't think of anything else to make right now, but if you guys agree with me, leave some comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.